My oldest son, he's a diesel mechanic, and he specializes in working on fire trucks. And he has told me on multiple occasions, as he's a traveling mechanic, so he goes all over, and he says on multiple occasions when the guys are around the shop, you know, bantering about being the hardest worker or whatever the case may be, he often says, "You guys don't hold a candle to my mom."
So I was actually a teen mom. I had my oldest when I was 16. And everything I do, so I have 2 boys, so almost 15, 8, and 6.
Wow.
I have Carter, Silas, and my daughter Sterling. My involvement with NAWIC and everything I do is for my kids, but a lot of the NAWIC for me is for my daughter, to just show her that, yeah, I'm a woman in a male-dominated industry, but we can still kick ass too.
Yeah,
for sure.
And don't ever let somebody tell you that you can't do something or make you feel small. And that's what NAWIC has been for me.
I love that.
So I really want to be able to hone in on that and teach her that her worth, and she's amazing. She's amazing. So
I love that. So construction is a second career for me. Before I used to work for the state as an administrator for the South Carolina Athletic Commission. And they sanction combat sports, so like MMA, boxing, all that stuff. And it was horrible. I hated my job. They didn't like me. It was fine. Didn't work out. However, I ended up going back to school because I already did like interior design on the side for like my mom's friends, you know, and stuff like that. So
you got some layers too, girl.
I know. Yeah. Much like my dress.
Yes.
It's like 3 dresses somewhere. But like, you know, when I started like doing stuff on the side, I was working with some friends, and we were doing like, I think we went to go price somebody's like foundation for their home or something like that. And I was talking to my dad, and my dad said, "You need to go back to school or you're gonna get sued because you don't know what you're doing." And I was like, noted. So I went back to Midlands Tech, which is a technical school in Columbia, and, you know, finished their 2-year degree program. And then like halfway through that, got offered an internship. COVID happened. So it all kind of just worked out, you know. They paid me to go to school while I was working because the school was shut down, you know, it was just virtual learning, you know, COVID. So it all worked out, right? So fast forward, I think maybe a year after I'd been there, or 2 years after I'd been there, they asked me to come back and speak on a panel. And I was like, oh my God, y'all want me to come speak to people, to the youths? I mean, to the youth. Granted, I'm like in my 30s, right? But, you know, I'll come speak, sure. And then I got asked to speak on another panel. And then I got asked to speak on another panel. And I was just like, oh, well, maybe like people think I'm somebody. I don't know. But I think, and this just happened recently, the other day I got a message on LinkedIn from a young lady asking me if I would talk about my career with her. I've never met this young lady before in my life.
Yeah.
We got on a 30-minute call. And we talked for actually like an hour. And I was like, well, how did you get my information? And she was like, oh, well, I kind of found you like on LinkedIn, but kind of through like the NAWIC thing. But then also I knew somebody who knew you, and we talked about you. And so she said, just reach out. She was really nice. And I was just like, it was like, but it was very heavy because I just felt like,
No, it's pressure.
Right. I was like, well, dang, like, why are you looking up to me? I am a mess. Like, just see the conversations I have with myself in my kitchen at night when I'm like really mad. You know what I'm saying? You know? So I'm just like, it does feel like very like monumental when you realize that people are looking at you for like some type of guidance, and it makes you want to do better.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably the most amazing transformation about leadership for me, is that it does make you look within yourself and say, okay, God, like what about me? Like my mom told me to pray this prayer, like, show me myself. Show me what about myself is not perfect and what isn't right, and what do I need to work on? Because none of us are perfect, right?
Right. We're all human.
So, yeah, that would be my moment.
Yeah.
I never was planning on being a project manager. It wasn't my career path I was headed for.
Yeah.
I kind of got put into it with different circumstances. So there was a project I was working on as an assistant project manager, and the project manager had a lot on his plate, and somehow I just kind of evolved. It was a smaller project, and somehow I just kind of evolved into being the project manager. And I caught myself one day at an OAC meeting, and it was for we were remodeling a doctor's office into a surgical center. And all of the OACs were with the doctors, but you had to go to the OAC meeting like at a certain time at the doctor's like lounge at the hospital, because they only had, short times in between their surgeries. And so I caught myself sitting in this room with all of these surgeons and acting as the project manager, because the project manager wasn't able to attend. And
so you were the real adult.
Yeah, and I was like, but I was sitting there and I was like, I got this. Yeah. Like, I wasn't intimidated. I was like, I got this. I know, Yeah. And so that was just a really small thing, but I just had a lot of different small experiences, and then people around me observing my abilities and observing that I could just step into that role when needed. And then over a course of several years and some additional education and stuff, I was able to step into that role. But it was, and I love it now. Yeah. But it's just funny because it wasn't where I was headed. I was perfectly content with what I was doing.
Yeah. I'm a cosmetologist.
So, are you? Yeah.
I went to work. I'm a licensed cosmetologist and makeup artist, actually. Nice. So that just really, I got bored with it. Yeah. I was so over being in the salon, just, being an unpaid therapist. Yeah. It just, But
you want to be a region director?
I think that might translate, though. Some of your skills might translate over.
It wasn't challenging for me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't exciting. This is something where I feel like not only in my chapter, but we're doing good things. And the construction industry is ever evolving. It's always moving. It's always changing. We're always learning. And that's what keeps it exciting for me. And it wasn't cutting it for me anymore. So I ended up in the construction industry completely by accident.
Most women do. I don't know the statistic off the top of my head, but I know I've heard it. And a lot of women don't seek it out initially.
Yeah, so it's been 8 years now that I've been in the industry. I'm with my second construction company. Nice. But the first job I applied for, my friend worked there. I thought she worked in insurance. I thought I was gonna be selling car insurance to people. I had no idea what I was interviewing for until they asked me, well, what made you want to be a dispatcher for an electrical contractor? Internally, I'm like, oh.
That's what I'm interviewing.
Yes. But I took it, I ran with it. I ended up helping rebuild and reshape the service department and learned so much there that I have taken with me to my current job. And again, it's still exciting. And I like to put out fires, metaphorically.
Not electrical ones.
Not electrical ones, no. But I am very, very passionate about the electrical field. And that is something that brings me joy. I sold generators, too, when I was in that realm. And I enjoyed it. Yeah. So I'm excited to see where things take me.
It is one thing I love about construction, too. It doesn't matter how many years you've been in it, you're always going to learn something new. It's always changing. Sometimes I beg for can I please just have a boring day, right? Because you usually don't.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that you usually don't. But every once in a while, it's
just let me breathe today.
But I love that it's always, evolving, and then all this new technology and great things that are coming out.